Hey, welcome everybody to the show, Martinis with Scott, a show about winning momentum in life and in business. Happy New Year. We're shooting this on New Year's Eve. I hope you have a great evening with family and friends and having a celebration of a change of the calendar. I think we all need it. Cheers. Thank you for joining me for a drink. That's good. I've got the Fernie Distillers, my hometown of Fernie, British Columbia. They have a craft distiller in town, having their gin today with a slice of lemon, and it's pretty good stuff. Many of you have pointed out to me that we missed a show or two before the holidays, before Christmas holidays, which I hope everybody had a great holiday, by the way. And the Thursday we release usually Thursday at 4 p.m. Eastern, or as close as we can get to that for the week, is when I try to show up to the bar with you. Last Thursday, the Thursday before was Christmas Eve, so I wasn't doing a show on Christmas Eve. And I tried to tell you that the week before because I have content to upload from that, a keynote address that I did with Galley WLG to, I think it was about 300 bankers in Canada on how to help their clients with COVID liquidity issues, with problems that businesses are having with their cash flow. Anyways, it was a good keynote address, I thought. And there's a video on YouTube of that. We tried to get it up on the channel, but the file that was sent to me was corrupted, and also YouTube was down, so we just didn't get the file up. It wasn't for a lack of content. So hopefully next week, from the producers of that keynote address, I will get a new file and get that up for you in the next week or two. So that's why we missed a show. For everybody that has been asking, I want to give a special shout out and a cheers to listener Susanna Chow, who reached out to me, says that she listens to the podcast while working out. So Susanna, it's New Year's Eve, it's your last day of 2020 to get some exercise in. Go harder, and thank you very much for listening, and thank you very much for reaching out. Well, what a year. Has this been the worst year ever for you guys? I'd be interested in your comments on that. We've had, since March, the COVID anxiety and fear. We're living with restrictions. In my part of the world, the restrictions are tolerable. They're not bad, but there's lots of places, including our Toronto office, for example, where most everything is shut down on red alert or whatever code you're using in your jurisdiction. But Toronto's certainly in bad shape. I know California's in bad shape. And so it's been a tough year. Trying to live a normal life and be with I think it really hits home over Christmas when you can't be with your family and friends. There's been COVID related health issues in 2020. Lots of people have been sick. Lots of people have died. It's been a bad, tough year from that perspective. And for me personally, on top of the COVID side, which, knock on wood, I don't have any wood here around my desk. Everything's metal, but there we go. I'll knock on my, if you're on the podcast, I just knocked on my wooden head. Knock on wood, we haven't had any in my family or in my businesses, any serious COVID issues, with the exception of one young lady who was sick with it potentially twice, and lost her sense of smell and the usual symptoms and all that sort of stuff. But it's a young, healthy lady who has recovered presumably pretty well, or at least is back to work. So thank God we haven't had any major serious issues. But I've got friends that have had other unrelated to COVID serious health issues that we've been dealing with in 2020, and some friends and family who have had a bit of a tough go the last little while. So and for me, adding to the anxiety and the stress. I mean, pre-COVID, I'm just someone who was on 3-4 airplanes a week, moving around, and it's weird. It's just weird to be sitting in stable in one place. Thankfully, we have Zoom technology. We have YouTube, so I can talk to you that way. I don't know if you recall, but we used to do Martinis with Scott live in the Toronto office, and we're not doing that anymore. But it's been a stressful. I don't even know how to put words to it. It's just been a stressful time, not being out and hustling in the way that I'm accustomed to doing for, over 30 years. And so there's just been a lot of bad stuff, a lot of fear, a lot of anxiety in 2020. I'm sure you're feeling the same. And 2021 is now coming. And so is this a new beginning? Is it a new beginning for you? And what does that mean exactly? One thing that I try to do, and I think I'm pretty practiced at this now, so I do a good job. You may want to try it. Is just to count your blessings. What was good in 21? Because if I get past the anxiety and all the things that are being presented to me in terms of fear-based, you can't do this, you can't do that, everybody's going to die, that sort of stuff. Truth of the matter is, objectively speaking, this has been the best business year of my career. We've had some wins and we've had some losses, but the wins have been pretty big. We've been aggressive. We've been going through a transition at Sinclair Range into the more of a private equity model where we're buying companies and doing our turnarounds, and the returns have been outstanding. It's been a lot of hard work. It's been a lot of new frontiers, which has been entertaining for me and challenging and keeps me interested in getting up in the morning. It's been the most profitable year of my career. I don't think there's any doubt about that. I've created the most value in businesses that we've ever created in one 12-month time frame, saved the most jobs probably, or right up there anyways. And I've learned the most and had the most fun in terms of my professional development. Those are the positives that have happened in 2020. And when I look at it that way, I rate this year as weird, but a tie or maybe a win for me and my firm. Hopefully you can look at it the same way. Having said that, I'm very much looking forward to 2021. As I look forward to every new year, I usually spend my holidays. How do you spend your holidays? I usually spend mine a little quieter and reflecting and planning, what were my major aims for last year? I don't like to say goals or objectives, but what direction was I trying to head last year? How did I do on that? And where am I trying to head in 2021? And the answer for 2021 is I want to push harder and be much more effective than I have been on brand building and digital marketing. That's my number one aim. And that means both from a personal brand perspective, which is getting launched in 21, and from the corporate brands that we have and control and manage. So that's a major initiative of mine in 2021. And I know for all you entrepreneurs that listen to the show out there, you're like, hey, that's everything. We build our whole business on marketing and sales and building brand. I come from the financial world. I come from the other side of the street, so to speak. And I come from investment banking and way back when from the accounting side. And you can do turnarounds. You can be in my business with a strong financial bent and never really ever get into the sales side and to the marketing side. So this is my journey. Your journey is probably the other way. If you're an entrepreneur that's, built the better mousetrap and you're off trying to sell and market, you probably need to build your back office and your financial controls and your reporting and get your banking right. Learn how to be the corporate value. So I'm going in this direction, you're going in that direction. Maybe we'll meet in the middle, just my assumption. But for me, I need to do a hell of a lot better job on brand building and digital marketing, focusing on top line. Secondly, internal controls and reporting. We're just growing. We're growing so fast. We're taking on more projects. We don't really have the systems and the capacity to make sure that our reporting and controls are bulletproof. And when you're dealing with high stakes with money, you need to be bulletproof on these fronts. We lost a significant sum. I found out about it yesterday, much to my surprise. No, the good news is that money was lost in December and things are going so well I didn't notice for a while, but that's just unacceptable for us as a team. It's on me. It's on me. It's on other members of the team as well, but I'm the boss and the buck stops with me. So I need to find a way to deal with that. But, a major initiative is this internal controls and reporting systems. And then the third major one would be a new acquisition to the portfolio. We added Novanni Stainless to the Sinclair Range family in 2020. Who's it going to be in 21? I had a good call with somebody last night where I think we probably have picked up a decent equity piece in something I'll disclose to you later. So yeah, things are going great on that front, and those are my for myself my three directions that I want to move toward in 2021. Why do I not say goals? I want you to think about this in running your business, in thinking about your life, and improvements, self-improvements that you want to make. Is it reasonable to say? Is it reasonable to say my goal is I want to double my revenue? A fellow I know, Rob Fraser, a guy on the show that we did an interview with, I think in November. You can go back and look that up on Martinis with Scott on YouTube or on the podcast. Is a terrific entrepreneur, runs Endure Apparel, I think it's called, out of Victoria, British Columbia. They sell primarily socks. They've really merged the culture of entrepreneurialism and athletics. He's a former pro athlete in the mountain bike space. So I just saw on his LinkedIn in passing, I think it was yesterday, he listed his three major goals for 2021, and one of them was double revenue for Endure. I want to double the revenue of my company as an entrepreneur in 2021. Well, that's terrific. The reason I don't like to use that sort of objective, measurable goal is because it immediately leads to the discussion, well, is that reasonable? Can I double my revenue? What happens if I don't grow by 100%? What if I only grow by 90% this year? Did I fail? Should I adjust my goal to a more reasonable number, like 20%, so that I can meet my goal? Because what's the point of an unrealistic New Year's resolution, right? Does it make any sense for you to have a New Year's resolution that you know for a fact you won't meet? And if you state it that way, are you a failure if you don't meet it? Or are you a success if you got partway there, but the goal was overly aggressive? Well, I believe in overly aggressive goals. I believe in direction, and I believe in not meeting them. I believe in failing to meet that goal because it was so outrageous that I just didn't obtain it. I failed. I challenged myself. I tried to get there, and I failed. But I'm super happy that I got 80% of the way there. I've talked about this in terms of strategic planning and business planning when you're trying to affect change in a company. And then the real issue, when you have an aim, or if you're trying to double the revenue of your business, none of that stuff matters. What matters is you design the systems to accomplish those things. You want to double your revenue, or I want to do much better than I have been doing on brand building and digital marketing. See, it's useless to have these goals, objectives, or aims if you don't have a system. The system is what gets things done. Okay, saying I want to lose 20 pounds, I always use this as an example, but saying I want to lose 20 pounds, that's a useless statement. What's more important is I'm going to get up at this time and I'm going to work out, and here's the things I'm going to eat. This is my system. Here's the things I'm not going to eat. This is my system, right? So activity and my fuel consumption, amending those, what I do and those habits, and creating systems to accomplish that is what's going to get me to losing the weight, the 20 pounds, or whatever the number turns out to be. Point being, all of that to say, I don't think the 20 pounds is relevant. I don't think that doubling the revenue is relevant. I think it just leads into a success failure vis-a-vis an artificial goal, a measurable goal. And I think that just leads people astray. I think you need a direction. You need an aim. You need to know where you're heading. And then you need to focus really hard on the systems to get you there. And so the next step for me, brand building and digital marketing for personal and corporate brands, internal controls and reporting, attracting more deal flow in so we can have a next addition to our portfolio for the shareholders and investors in Sinclair Range. What are the systems that I'm going to put in place to get those done? Well, I need to work on that between now and next Monday. It's a new year, New Year's Eve. We're heading to 2021. And I know for a fact, because I've talked to clients and employees and people in my orbit, my community, as we say in today's lingo. Cheers again, by the way. I know that everybody's thinking they're going to wake up tomorrow morning and it's going to be 2021 and everything's going to be different and we're going to be past this COVID thing. Don't believe it. Don't believe it. We're 6 to 12 months before, at best, before things start to normalize both in your personal life and in your business. Why is it going to take so long? Well, it takes a long time to get up to herd immunity. It takes a long time. Nobody knows how these vaccinations are going to work. Nobody knows how many people and a percentage of the population need to be vaccinated to deal with this disease. And once it's done, what is the trust factor? If you're an airline, when are people going to start flying? When could you start adding, more routes back to where you were? And how long is it going to take to get back to normal? Nobody knows the answer to that. And you also need to remember that the media, the politicians, the people that are terrifying you with real news, with fake news, with a relentless, pressure and scare tactics with respect to COVID. And I'm not trying to argue COVID's not real or is real or none of that. You believe what you want to believe. But you can't deny that the coverage has been over the top. You can't deny that the politicians have been over the top, that the reactions from the politicians have been random and hectic and dishonest and unfair, right? I mean, nobody would argue that, no matter where you are on believing about this COVID. And why is it? Because it earns some clicks. The media earn clicks by scaring the hell out of you. The politicians earn clicks and name recognition and attention by scaring the hell out of you. And clicks mean money and clicks mean power. Okay, that's what they mean. And they're not going to give that up. Are they going to give that up easily? Would you? If you were making a bunch of money as a media company, as CNN or CBC, if you were making a bunch of money from scaring the hell out of people, reading articles about how bad COVID is and how incompetent the government is, are you going to give that up easily? You're not. So bottom line is this: don't wake up tomorrow and expect things to change immediately, because it's going to take a long time. And the danger is that you're hopeful and you're looking for a change because of the change of the calendar year. And when it doesn't come, you slink back into extra depression, extra fear, extra, from a business perspective, being frozen and stale. Is that the word I'm looking for? But you're not moving forward. What you need to do is find ways to count your blessings, to be positive and action-oriented, assuming that nothing is changing from the COVID perspective. Make your decisions based on that, and you're not going to be disappointed. Okay, so I want to give a bunch of thanks for a great 2020, a terrific 2020 on many fronts in the Sinclair Range family. We've talked on this show about Roofers World, our company that we own that does that does tools for the roofing industry, including the Red Ripper and ladder mount and various brackets. We sell through big box firms, and I took this company over a year and a half ago. So this has been our first full year. Revenue's been way up. We're profitable. The history of this company was, although they had great products, was losses forever. We just moved to a new facility in Ottawa, Canada. And what a terrific year. We've got a long way to go in terms of growth and listings and that sort of stuff. But Lucy and Cam, thank you very much. And the team in Ottawa, thank you very much. What a terrific year. You guys did a great job. Novanni Stainless, we've talked about a lot on this show. I'm going to talk about more later in the show. Sorry, we've talked about it a lot on this channel, and we're going to talk about it more later on this specific episode. The whole team up there in Coldwater, Ontario, where we manufacture stainless steel sinks, Canadian-made stainless steel sinks and strainers. You became part of the Sinclair Range family in June of 2020 after sort of a horrifying number of years and a lot of financial trouble. It's been an amazing transition. We've been profitable pretty much from day one of ownership. We have a long way to go. We have a lot to do, but there's exciting things happening there. And congratulations to all of you. And what a great job. So thank you very much. I want to say thank you to the Globex Life Sciences team in Colorado. This is a company that I took over direct management of in early December of 2020. Guys, I haven't even met you yet. I've met, I have a strong sort of electronic relationship, a digital relationship with my general manager down there, but there's a whole bunch of people I've never even really met, nor have I gone to see the production facility because I can't cross borders with COVID. I mean, technically I could, but then I couldn't come back home and I'd be quarantined for weeks on end and my kid couldn't go to school anymore. So can't do that. Hopefully in the new year, that sort of restriction will break at some point and I'll be able to come down and spend a week with you, but we're gonna start a listening tour as I did with Novani in 2021, a listening tour if you're a business owner and you're looking for, how do you affect change as you go to the people? You go to the people who are actually doing the work, not middle management, not senior management. You got to go through them directly to the people. I'm going to start doing that by Zoom, but it's just hard to break that ice and gain the trust of people if you've never even met them face to face. It works at Novani, even though I can't get there very often, again, for travel restrictions, and because I live on the other side of the country, but it works for Novani because I've been there roughly once a month, and I've done employee addresses, and so they know my face, they know who I am, they know what I'm trying to accomplish. And so doing a Zoom meeting for an hour with an individual employee is semi-effective. I describe it as a 4 or 5 out of 10, not an 8 out of 10, but it's not bad. It's not bad. It's better than not doing it, right? Being there in person would be an 8 out of 10, but doing it digitally without ever having met the person or showing your face of the company, I just don't. I feel like that's going to be a 1 or 2 out of 10. So I need to figure out how to deal with this. But Globex, welcome to the team. Happy New Year to our clients. You know who you are. I don't want to drop your names, but thank you for everything. And we hope that we can. We've done a decent job so far, keeping you afloat, and that the big light at the end of the tunnel is what we think it is. And I believe that that's true. So I think we're going to have a great 2021 with the client base to the key service providers. You know who you are. I won't drop your name as well, but prominently lawyers on my side, and the odd accountant and bankruptcy professional. Thanks for a great year. Okay, I want to do a Novanni Stainless update. If you're not a regular listener, you've probably missed this. If you are a regular listener, you'll know that Novanni Stainless was a troubled company that I purchased, as I said earlier, Sinclair Range purchased in June 2020. And we've done a number of shows on the Martinis with Scott channel that are intended to have you join us if you want through the turnaround, through the journey of the turnaround of Novanni Stainless, which has been going pretty well. So there's a little bit of context and background, but what I want to do today is I want to talk directly to the employees and stakeholders of Novani, who I know for a fact listen to this channel. On December 24th, we filed what is known in Canada as a notice of intent to file a proposal, which is under the Bankruptcy Insolvency Act. So the company sought what you might know as bankruptcy protection in Canada. Now, if you're an employee, if you've listened to this show, I've talked about the need to do this from day one back in June, July. It's been part of our plan. It allows us to restructure our balance sheet, and so we pulled the trigger on that. We needed to do that before year end. So that's and again, that's called a notice of intent to file a proposal. And the reason it's called that is because at some point in the near future, you actually filed a proposal, and the proposal means that you say to your unsecured creditors, i.e. not the bank, you say to your unsecured creditors, hey, I know I owe you $100, but I can only pay you $10 or whatever your proposal is. And then your creditors get to vote on that and accept it or not accept it. And if enough people vote, enough of the creditors vote, well, then a judge says, okay, that's binding. You don't owe the $100 anymore. Now you owe the $10 or the $5. Whatever the number is. So that has been done at Novani. So what does that mean? What does that mean for employees, for customers? And the answer is not much, maybe absolutely nothing. Okay, I think the employees, you guys in the back, operating the presses, making the sinks, quality control, even management, I don't think you're going to know I don't think you're even going to notice. If I hadn't have told you, you may not have even known that this was happening. From a customer perspective, you might know because it might, leak throughout the industry. We're completely in control of our operations. There's zero risk to us from this process. It makes us a healthier, stronger company, and it just allows us to clean up our affairs from the past, from before Sinclair Range took over, and our deliveries should be as good as they have been the last few months, which has been pretty awesome. I believe our backlog will be cleared up shortly, and I think our fill rates are going to run, in excess of 90% in 2021. So you shouldn't notice anything at all. For suppliers, obviously this is where the proposal comes in. So if you have a bunch of back debt, this doesn't really affect current suppliers. So you get to buy, under this process, as a company, you get to buy from your current suppliers. You don't get to take any more credit, so you would have to pay for the stuff that you're buying up front. But for those that are not on the critical list, those have a bunch of back debt, you get a proposal and you get a payment, and you get to choose whether to accept it or whether to look for the alternatives, which aren't very good for those suppliers. And so these are the people that, it's a negotiation. It's a negotiation with these suppliers. It's a process related to these suppliers. And those are the people who are going to notice that. But for the employees of Novani, you need to see this as a positive, because that's what it is. Let me give you an example. I was saying turnarounds, there's the operational side and there's the balance sheet side. So what does that mean? What does that mean for a person outside my industry, for a normal person? Well, I think I've said this in an employee address before, but let's say you're a laborer and you're making $20 an hour. Okay, so you're working along and you're making $20 an hour, and everything's fine. You can pay your mortgage a little bit, and you can mostly you can pay your mortgage. You can eat. You can buy your kid a Christmas present. You can do the things that you need to do at $20 an hour. And then one day you're such a success that you get a promotion in the company and a $5 raise, and now you're taking $25 an hour. Well, that's huge, right? That's huge. That's 25% pre-tax growth in your wage. And probably in Canada, without the changing of the tax brackets too much, you're probably roughly you're more percentage wise. What would that be? I don't know. Anyways, can't do that off the top of my head, but 25, 35, somewhere, maybe even 40% after-tax growth in your take-home income. I mean, that's a pretty spectacular number, right? But it just so happens that you have a bunch of personal debt. You've got $5 million, hypothetically, in personal debt. So you've gone, with this 25% pre-tax growth on your income, but $25 an hour isn't enough to deal with your $5 million of debt, no matter what you do. I mean, you can have a promotion 3 years from now and go to $30 an hour. You're still not dealing with that $5 million of debt. Let's say you ran a business before and you blew up and you owe a bunch of money. You have no hope in hell of ever paying that money. The $25, the 20 to 25, is the operational side of the turnaround. The $5 million of debt is the balance sheet side of the turnaround. It's the same in a business, and it's the same at Novani. Operationally, we, since I've taken over, since Sinclair Range bought this company in June, we've made money every single month. And December looks like it's going to be, I was told this morning, we're going to have the best December that the company's had in more than 5 years. Top line, I haven't seen bottom line numbers yet, but we're above break even for sure at the run rate that we're on for December. So that's terrific. But we have so much back debt from the trouble that existed for years with this company and this serious issue that it needs to be cleaned up. It needs to be cleaned up for the benefit of everybody, including the suppliers from the past and the creditors from the past that haven't been paid, because they just need finality. They need to know where they are, right? And so that's something I promised the people in June, July. I thought I would have this done by November. It took us till December 24th, but whatever. That's the way it is. And so that gives you just some idea of the difference between things are going awesome over here and we're making money and our cash flow, apart from paying that big amount of debt, our cash flow is great. It's really been good, but we have no hope in hell of servicing that old debt, when it's due, which is the very definition of insolvency, and that's why insolvency protection exists. This is a perfect example of why this legislation exists. It's a perfect example of why you can go into Chapter 11 in the U.S. and you can go to a judge and you can say, hey, I have a plan. I have a plan where I'm making money and I'm creating value, and I need to reorganize and restructure my stakeholders so that everybody can participate fairly in the new company and the new plan that I've put forth. So that the creditors get to vote on that. They get to find who participates where. They have their arguments about that, and that's what bankruptcy protection is. And so that's a Chapter 11 in the U.S. and a bunch of different chapters. It's a CCAA process, Company Creditors Arrangement Act in Canada. It's an NOI process, which is what is a super simple way to do this for Novanni Stainless. And by the way, in an NOI, we should be out of this in 60 days, maybe 75 days, somewhere in that time frame. Unless someone goes squarely on us and we have difficulty with the negotiations and the restructuring, which is always possible. But at the end of the day, we're going to get through this, and because we've got a great business, we're creating a lot of value, and it's going to work. It's going to work. I have zero doubts about that. And so this just makes us healthier and stronger going forward. So that's what an NOI is. What else do I have here for you? I think that's it. I'm going to sign off, and I'm going to continue drinking my gin and get ready for my New Year's celebrations. I have to cook a cheese fondue this evening. When I sign off, I'm going to attach a video, which is a mid-December address to Novani employees that I gave when I was concerned about, maybe even frustrated with, the culture of the people at Novani who for so many years have been, what am I trying to say? They've been, I don't want to say hiding, but they've minded their business. They're not participating. They're not, thinking the welfare of Novani is necessarily a team sport. They don't want to get hit over the head like whack-a-mole, right? They see things wrong, but they want to keep quiet, and they're fearful because management, I think unintentionally, but it doesn't matter, intentionally, unintentionally, management has served to create this culture of fear, and that management knows best, and I'm trying to break that culture. I'm just trying to break that fear. So the intention is to fight through this culture of fear and not participating in solutions, and to make this a team event. And I talk in this employee address for the first time about the idea of power hierarchies and competence hierarchies and the difference. And for this, by the way, I actually bought a pyramid as a prop. So I hope you enjoy my little pyramid analysis. And I try to stress a really important point. And if you are a leader of a business, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're a manager in a business, it doesn't matter where you are in the executive level, your job is to serve. Your job is to serve the people underneath you. It's not to have power. It's not to exercise power of the people underneath you. It is to serve them. And you turn this hierarchy, this competence hierarchy, upside down. Because what I explained is that when it comes to buying a troubled company, dealing with the bankers, going through the restructuring, motivating, managing, all of those things that a CEO ought to be doing, those are my competencies. That's what I'm the best at in our organization. That's what I'm the best at of anybody that I know, in my not so humble opinion. But when we turn it upside down, I'm not the guy. I'm not the guy making stainless steel sinks. I'm not running the press. I'm not the best at that. I don't even know what the hell it is. Like, I can go back there and watch, but I don't know, unless I was trained, that I wouldn't know how to do that job. It's the employees. It's the people on the front line doing that job. I can't do the customer service job. I don't know the customers. I don't know the reps. I wouldn't know how to price a job, right? I don't know any of that stuff. It's the people doing those jobs who are the competent ones that need to be the competent ones. And what is my job with respect to that? My job is to service them, is to make their job easier, is to help them. And how do I do that? They need to tell me. They need to tell me what they need, okay? They need to tell me what they need to make their job easier and better, and for the company to be more successful, or for their little micro station, their little sliver of the world in this business, right? They need to tell me what makes it better. If you're playing hockey, if you're a defenseman and you're talking about clearing the front of the net, you have to have communication with your partner, your defense partner. You have to have communication with your goaltender. You all need to know what makes the other person's job easier and better and more effective. You have breakout patterns in hockey. I don't want to go too far with this analogy because you're not hockey people, but you understand what I'm trying to say. If you're a leader of a business, if you're a manager of anybody, your job is to service them. Your job is to do what you're competent at and get information from your subordinates, right, to help you with your job. But it's also your job, and more importantly, it's your job to make sure that your subordinates are able and willing and capable to improve. You need to help them do that, and they need to tell you how to do that. You need to create the culture to encourage these employees to tell you what's up and what you need to do. And that's what this employee address is all about. So I'm going to sign off. Thank you for listening. This has been Martinis with Scott. If you love it, or if you even just like it, take a look at the channel on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and subscribe. Give me a like, give me a thumbs up. We will see you next week. And remember, so I'm going to play this 10-minute employee address to the Novani people when I sign off here. But remember at 12:01, not even 12:01, at 1 second past midnight tonight, your hindsight is truly 2020. We're good to go? All right, that's everybody? More or less? Quick. Okay, thanks everybody. I want to be really quick today because I don't want to take your, I don't know, you got some lunch thing going on, like it starts soon. So we'll be quick to this. Who has a phone with text capability? Hands, please. It better be everybody, I think. Who doesn't? For the two of you that don't, are you able to email, write a letter, talk to a friend?
Depends if there's Wi-Fi.
Depends if there's Wi-Fi. So all but 3 of you easily have the capability of reaching me, correct? Yeah. We all agree with that? 646-670-0800. I gotta find a way to get that information to you. There is no reason that you're not contacting me. I bought a prop today. I brought a prop. I found this at the airport on the way through. It's too small. This is a pyramid, okay? It all represents a bunch of things, but one thing it can represent is a hierarchy. You know, I always try to explain a little bit of what I'm thinking so you guys can understand that, and maybe it's a bit more persuasive. And if you listen to the politics of the day, you'll know that people talk about power hierarchies all the time, which, you know, if you have a hierarchy that's based on power, it's corrupt. What a hierarchy should be based on is competence, okay? And me, I'm at the very top up here. Why? Because I have a certain skill set, which is specifically leading turnarounds in companies, financing, banking, doing that sort of stuff. Do I have a competency in building sinks? No, I don't know anything about building sinks. You guys have a competency in building sinks. Here's how you manage a company. This is why I bought this, so I could turn this upside down for you. You are on top. The people that are working on the machines and building sinks have the competency that is on top. I'm at the very bottom. My job is to support you. So that you can do your job, because at the end of the day, you're the people that know what you're doing. You're the leaders in this organization. You are the ones that are going to change things. My job is to support you. I support you through Frank, who is up here. I support you through Angela, who is here. And I support you through the front office staff, your supervisors in the back, right through to you. And if that chain isn't working for you, you need to find a way to get from there to me. You need to find a way to get to me so that I can support you. Because my job, when I'm the one on top, is to make the money, turn around the organization, and I rely on Frank
to support me by giving me information, getting stuff made. I rely on Angela to support me. I rely on plant supervisors to support me by everybody doing their job. And what I need to do when I am on top is help you do your job and make clear what I need from you. When you're on top, you need to make clear to me what you need from me. We've established that every one of you, except for 3, so you're off the hook, know how to get a hold of me. It's your responsibility, okay? It is your responsibility to reach out to whoever you need to reach out to, and if it's not working for you, directly to me. You need to reach out and you need to tell me what makes your job easier. How can you be more productive? If you are hiding, if you're fearful, okay, you're not helping. You need to reach out to me, okay? If you don't like what's going on with middle management, if you don't like what's going on with Frank or Angela or anything else, and I'm not saying that's the case, but if that is the case, you need to reach out to me. You need to be the change. I need to help you be the change. Is that clear? Okay? Now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, this is bullshit. That's not how I feel about my job. I'm gonna get beat up. I'm gonna be torn down. That's not, real life. It's all really nice in theory. The reality is, it's my job to make this real life. It's my job to make it not bullshit. It's your job to accept that. It's your job. It's your job to reach out and say, hey, this could be a little bit better. This is what we could do. And by the way, I may not be able to help you, right? When you come to me and say we don't have enough steel of the right size, we're having problems with that, okay? The whole world's having problems with that. It's a legitimate concern, okay? You're not going to be shut down for raising that issue. I'm just saying I might not be able to help you today, but I still want to know about it, okay? We can still have a discussion about it. When we turn things around, when we work better as a team, when we change culture, that's as much on you as it is on me. You need to participate in that, okay? So I've been hearing about fear. I've been hearing about hiding. We need to cut through that. I'm not expecting it overnight, but I need you to understand that at the end of the day, we need to cut through that. Questions on that? All right. Anybody want a pyramid? I'm done with it. Done here. Okay. What else do I have? We're going to be quick today. In the new year, primary goals here, we're going to create a new system to formalize what I just said. Okay, we're going to find a way that formalizes. If you got changes you'd like to see made, if you have recommendations, think of an old school sort of suggestions box, except we're going to make it a little more modern than that, and there will be compensation rewards of some sort to encourage that from you. I don't have a design, I don't want to talk about it more, but that's I always tell you what my initiatives are going forward. That's going to be one in the new year. We're going to go through HR evaluation, make sure that we know the job description specifically, because that's come out in the listening tour that I've been doing with you guys. So we're going to make that more clear for you. And inventory / scheduling / production attainment has always been a big project, and that will be my third one for Q1 of 2021. In that light, you guys may have seen the plant tours that Frank has been doing. We're interviewing for a plant manager. This is not a plant supervisor, like that's what we called before, right? Not a plant supervisor, a more senior person, I believe, a plant manager, someone whose job it is to say, hey, plant manager, there's the schedule for today, and his job is to get it done, okay? And that's to work with you, and I'm not sure if I think we've got some terrific candidates.
Yeah, very good.
And we're down like highly experienced, terrific people, and we're down to I think the last 5. So I expect that we're going to have somebody hired in the new year to help implement these things that I just talked about. We're going through, I've said from day one, we're going to go through a balance sheet restructuring, and for those of you that are new, and just to remind you, if you think about your own household, you've got your job. And then one day you get a big raise, so now you're making more money, but you still owe $1 million, and you can't afford to pay it. Even though things are going great, like you can go have dinner out with your wife or your partner or whatever, your girlfriend or boyfriend, but you know, you're not paying $1 million anytime soon. So just because things are going awesome from what we would call a P&L or an operations point of view in the business, just because you're making more money doesn't mean you're not in trouble from a balance sheet, from the debt that you owe point of view. Well, in business, you can separate those two things. What we're doing here at Novani is operationally is going really, really well. Way better than it used to be. And as I said, we make money every month and things are great. But I still have to deal with the balance sheet side. This is a zero risk thing from your perspective. I don't even think you're going to notice. I honestly don't think if I didn't tell you, I don't think you would even know. Okay, but I am telling you because that's the way we do this, and so we're going to clean that up, and it just is what it is. I knew that coming in. I told you that day one. So I think we're probably pulling the trigger on that Monday. There's just a bunch of filings and stuff that need to be done. That's all I have. And again, I'm trying to do this quickly for you, so as not to dip into your lunch. Questions, comments for today? Okay. Angela, how do I get my phone number to these guys?
I'll put it on the wall here.
Put it on the wall. Put my contact, my email. Awesome. And if we don't talk again, if I miss you, I wish everybody an amazing holiday, you and your families. And Frank, give some sort of, how are we doing the other part of this?
Turkeys coming around?
Yeah.
We've got cards, we'll just come around and hand them up, shake everybody's hand.
Okay, so Frank will be dealing with that. Thank
handing
you
out
everybody for
turkeys?
your hard work. What was that?
He's handing out turkeys?
Yeah. Or cases of beer or bottles of wine, whatever you.
Oh, the cash kind of turkey.
It's the cash kind of turkey. It's all sitting right here in my pocket. Okay, questions, anybody? Okay, thank you so much. Enjoy your lunch, enjoy your holidays, and operationally, I know I normally go through the financials, but we don't have time today. We'll do it in the new year, but it's all going really well. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.